What's beauty to you?
What's beauty to me?
For artists, you know, we fought for so long to have freedom of speech.
We have this technological revolution, but how does it impact our traditions?
If I moved one person to do something, I'll take it.
We have to remind humanity that we're one family.
What value do you place on things? If you walk the streets, it's easy to see what people value and undervalue. The things we choose to place importance on reveal our core values, define our identity and spirit as individuals and as a nation. Unlike more regional countries, today finding handcrafted pieces has become a rarity and luxury many of us can't afford. The gift of handmade pieces exemplifies the power of the human spirit and our propensity to create. There's just something touching about owning a handmade item. Meet Heidi Hankaniemi, a New York-based conceptual and textile artist from Finland with a degree in critical fine art practice. A former model and resident of 9 different countries, Heidi's art practice involves curiously observing the more mundane aspects of life most of us take for granted. Her key materials are domestic textiles handcrafted by anonymous women from around the world, from tapestry, crochet to embroidery and lace, strategically assembled to create large sculptural collages in honor of its makers. Through her art process, Heidi's identified a dying breed of silent artists, and her mission is to give life to their work. But it took a near-death experience to find her calling.
I had a brain tumor.
A brain tumor. Okay.
And then...
How long ago was this?
2013. So I had this huge selection. I just had bags and bags of these laces.
That you'd collected
that
out
I'd
of
collected.
interest?
Yeah. And I didn't really know what to do with them. And we came home from hospital after my surgery. And I told my husband, I'm like, just get rid of all that dirty, broken... Tapestries. I want, only clean things in my head. Because somehow this idea of just wanting clean things surrounding me. And he's like, no, you've been collecting them for years. I'm not going to just throw them out. And then eventually I started going through them and I could feel such an energy through them. And like mother, I'm missing my mother in Finland, and I could just sense these moms. And then someone said, oh, just imagine love surrounding you like a soft comforter. So I really started creating this kind of mending these things while mending myself, and it became a meditative thing. And then in the years from then, they've started to bloom, and now I collect very much.
As you were getting better, they became more colourful.
True.
And
now they're blooming again. Yeah, so this is I get like tablecloths and things, and I cut them out and put them together, like kind of like textile collages in a sense. And the idea is that you can sort of imagine the woman. This comes from New York. This is a lot of
handiwork. This is a lot
so this has taken someone, a good month. But an interesting thing is too that green is actually quite a rare color to find.
It's beautiful,
in embroideries.
Yeah. What's your favorite flea market?
I'd have to say Rastro, the Madrid one. For me.
For you, this sort of stuff.
For this stuff, yes. So we lived in Madrid at El Rastro. The flea market, and I would go for a walk in the evening after the flea market is closed and they're throwing out all their garbage. And this is the first thing I really picked up, this thing here, this piece.
That started
and it was in
everything.
the garbage. And I thought,
this is magnificent.
and I thought, oh my goodness,
so beautiful.
some woman has spent so much time creating that. And obviously I think, well, had it been a man who had made it, maybe they would have saved it. But so I started consciously collecting these discarded and damaged handy
Understanding that these, take a long time to create.
Yes. People always ask what your favorite place to live in.
Yes.
And I always kind of think that, I mean, nothing beats New York, like the different opportunities. I mean, you can truly do anything and you can be anything. And as long as you're persistent in doing what you do and you do it well enough, there will be a demand for it. Initially, I thought I was going to be an illustrator because I loved drawing. But then I discovered conceptual art in my kind of early teens. This art group called Fluxus from the 60s, and they did this kind of very odd... Yoko Ono was a big part of it, this kind of very humorous performance.
Can you think of a particular performance piece that cracked you up?
This is a really weird one. This, I don't know if it will make it. A group of men, you stand around a bucket. And
try and piss in
the bucket while singing your own national anthem.
Oh my God.
So
that's what they thought
That's
of.
one.
And you're like, I have to do this.
This is so fun.
This is the industry I want to be in.
The funny thing was like, how can this even be art? And if this can be art, this is what I want to do. This was featured on some websites, and people were furious.
Because it
calling
was a
this
mask
a waste.
shortage,
Yes.
perhaps.
And I had a bag
As well?
made out of masks, filled with masks though, that we would give to people.
Were you heckled on the street when you were walking around? Or
Not that much. It was more positive actually on the street, but then the reactions afterwards were...
But you also made it into somebody else's artwork with that.
Yes. David Rigaud created this poster.
New York is
New
healing.
York is healing poster. It's for subway creatures. And there we are.
For thousands of years, we've been sharing our stories through textiles. It's one of the oldest art forms in history, spanning literally every continent. But since the 18th century, the men that ruled the fine arts world refused to acknowledge textiles as a fine art practice. To them, it was women's work, so they rejected it as craft. Then, in the 60s and 70s, the feminist movement hit like a tsunami, and artists like Judy Chicago and Miriam Shapiro fought to change the narrative and won, forever stitching textiles onto the fine art world stage.
The whole idea behind my practice is that handmade things absorb an essence from their creator.
Yes.
So I really appreciate the makers of all these things. There's a textile arts historian called Jasleen Demija who has this quote which I use a lot. She says, "Each time the needle pierces the cloth, the fibers absorb an essence of the maker," which is really very special to me, and people
Spiritual
don't,
energy,
and
a
people
spiritual
don't
energy.
appreciate these handmade things. To me, this is so lovely that you have. I know this is from Florence, Italy, and that's from Sweden, and they're like friends right
There
here.
beside each other.
Yes.
So your Bloom series came from your...
Mending tapestries. We were these larger white tapestry.
And how do people display these? Do they put them behind glass?
Either behind glass or then just these. They all have like a hanging system on the back. But these have been a part of New York Textile Month.
And you've just had a really big department store.
Yes.
Is getting you to do custom pieces
Exactly. So that's what I'm working on.
as artworks to have on the
artworks.
wall.
True. Probably the most meaningful thing with this that, you know, your grandmother passes away and left a bag of crochets. Like, no one knows what to do with these things anymore. No one really appreciates them. But you know your grandmother or aunt made them. So, yeah, I do make a lot of commissions for people. Like, I just did something for a woman, her grandmother had passed away, and I did something for the niece for her graduation gift. So that went into a frame. So they go into like a box frame.
So how did they find you?
I was a resident at the Textile Arts Center a number of years ago, and I had a big sign in the window saying any discarded, unwanted, unused, inherited handiworks, please donate them to me. And still, people are still, 6 years later, I get calls and through my website.
So you were always cutting things and putting things back together. Were you getting in trouble all the time?
I was, and my mom has a story which she loves to tell because she was followed and stopped by department store security because she had packed her bag full of their free brochures and catalogs, and she had to explain that she was getting them for her young daughter who likes cutting these pictures out. So
Cute.
it was always very clear that I was going to be
Doing something with scissors
something, yes.
cutting things and then putting
Yeah.
things back together.
Yeah.
Do you think that this is it? America's it for you, or?
I miss Europe, quite honestly, I do. But we go back every summer to Finland, and I do miss Spain. That just the life is nice. And the nice thing with Europe is it's always easy to travel. Like it's like 2 hours to Paris and 2 hours.
I know, that's so romantic.
So anyway, these are like handy tools.
Are these felting tools, or these are
No, these are dentistry tools.
dentistry tools?
Dentistry tools, and I've just kind of mended into more kind of friendly things.
I thought these were like tools for making this kind of stuff.
No.
Okay,
They're
that's
just
random.
I'm
Okay.
into lace and put this plaster on them, and then I have about 200 of these kind of tools, which I don't display here.
I bet you a dentist would find this fascinating, though, right?
Yeah. So this was a part of a whole playing house exhibition. Bonnet.
A bonnet, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But this was for life advice.
Life
So
advice.
all these wordings.
Do not be angry and do not worry. Be grateful. Work with integrity. Be kind to others. A little cock tease doesn't hurt. No, it doesn't. Don't be late. Respect the time of others. Very important. Get excited. Do not chew with your mouth open. I totally agree. Travel lightly. Yes. Swear moderately. Keep your promises and keep things tidy. Remember people's names. Cross the T and dot the I. Did you write this?
Yes.
Yes.
So,
Oh, it's all written here.
yes. So for the girl
Here's
who
the,
wears it,
A little
This is-
tease doesn't hurt. What would you say to people that say, well, why create conceptual art? How do you make money out of conceptual art, or what does it do? What's the function?
it's art based on a concept. So it's an idea of going out to mend on the street.
Making people think outside of the square, really. Critical thinking, it's
yes,
important.
Yes, but now there's also a lot of art is very aware. There's very socially conscious art, and obviously the times we've kind of gone through
Right.
very heavy issues that people are dealing with also through art.
Right.
And
But I
it's
think
quite
it's okay to have art that's just
Yeah.
for fun and to make
yes,
people laugh
people
as well.
laugh, and for me, I'm all about beautiful things, really, and I feel so good for me because there's an idea behind them, but they're also allowed to just look beautiful,
Type of music you listen to in your teens and 20s,
like reggae, soul-y,
and then the type of music you listen to in your 30s.
same.
From delicate wearable art to organic forms blooming with colour, it's hard not to find beauty in Heidi's creations that honour a breed of artisans from an era when handmade was heartfelt. For those that take the time to notice, Heidi's artwork pulls at your heartstrings. It sees the ignored and gives life to the unloved, and creates new perspectives around respect, what we value and why. In return, her artwork elevates our awareness, nourishes our soul, making the tapestry of our life a little richer.
Jah the King,